Tonight's episode is brought to you by Leap Spirits, paying homage to the iconic end zone celebration that was created by a Green Bay legend, Leroy Butler. Leap vodka is inspired by the best attributes of the world's finest vodkas.
It's distilled from Midwest corn until impurities are removed. Their proprietary coconut filtering process provides vibrant fragrance and flavor. Leap Vodka has been recognized for excellence by industry experts from coast to coast. Their processes provide the smoothest, cleanest vodka possible.
To find Leap Vodka in a retail store or a restaurant near you, visit leapspirits.com and click on Leap Vodka. 40% alcohol by volume, distributed by Phillips Distribution Corporation, 310 Nob Hill Road, Madison, Wisconsin. You must be 21 plus or of legal drinking age to consume alcoholic beverages. Please drink responsibly. All right, enjoy tonight's show.
Every year I know we gonna go hard. We been that team ever since Bart started. All my cheese heads go pack go. Ain't showing no mercy, cutting no slack, no. I ain't a bad sport and I'll even wish you good luck. Only thing I will.
All right. We are live. For those of you watching on social media, just tuning in. Welcome to Lombardi's Legends podcast. And we are here with an incredibly special guest, a guy that if you listen to our podcast regularly, we talk a lot about because we think he's just a heck of a football player. Green Bay Packers defensive lineman, Jack Heflin. Jack, welcome to Lombardi's Legends podcast. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, I mean, thank you for joining us. We sure appreciate it. Somebody we've been following now since you came to Green Bay, and we always have to ask first-time guests the same question. Jack, how's it feel to be a Green Bay Packer?
I mean, it feels pretty damn good. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's very special, especially be able to go out to Lambeau Field and just see all the fans. It's very, very home feel to me. It's a lot like Iowa City, and I really enjoy that. So it's a pretty damn good feeling.
Yeah, and Jack, I think most Packer fans know some of the beats and highlights of your story and your path to the NFL. It's not been necessarily, I'll respect, a seamless journey, has it? So I'm just wondering if you can just give us a little bit of a deeper dive on that path, because I think a lot of folks assume that everyone that's in the NFL was an All-American in high school, scholarship player 3 or 4 years in college, early round draft pick. And I think you're not alone on the Packers of having a little bit more of a unique journey. But I'm just wondering if you could share a little bit more about what that path to the NFL and to the Green Bay Packers has been for you.
Yeah, I mean, it's never been easy for me. Like you're saying, it hasn't been seamless at all. Far from it. I mean, coming out of high school, I was a walk-on to Northern Illinois. Was playing good in my first camp. Had shoulder surgery. Got cut from the team. Came back. Got the starting spot. And then I got hurt. And then I was to the point where we didn't know if I was going to play football ever again. And then came back, healed up right. It was just a matter of just healing the right way. And then came back, healed up right, had the best year of my college career, and I'm getting all conference. And then I transferred to Iowa during the COVID year, just wanted to play the Big Ten games. Grew up a diehard Hawks fan. It's kind of funny. I had a good amount of offers in the portal, and I was visiting my girlfriend out in Colorado Springs, and Coach Ferentz called me. He's like, "Hey, I just want to let you know we had a scholarship open up for you." And I was like, "Yep, it's a committable. I'm going." Didn't care about the competition. I just had to go through. I'm going to Iowa right now. I don't care anything. No, so went to Iowa, played eight games there. I could have did the COVID year thing, but I had over 1,800 snaps in college. So I'm like, it's time to move on. And yeah, then thought I was gonna get my name called 5th round. Thought it was 6th round. I really thought, but it didn't happen. But God had a different plan for me, so ended up doing the undrafted route, and I mean was blessed to land at a spot in Green Bay with one with the D-line coach that really believed in me and the GM that really gave me a shot. So that's all I could really ask for. They never BS me from the start. They shot me straight. Um, there was never anything behind closed doors that was different or something going on. They're telling people different. So that's what I really appreciate with the organization there and hope to do the same this fall.
And Jack, you talk about this path to get to the NFL, and how do you keep going? I mean, is this just a love of the game situation for you, or you love the game so much because every guy that we talk to seems to have a different path to the NFL. Some guys highly recruited, some guys, are battling every season and every snap. So is it really truly a love of the game? What's your motivating factor all the way through college and into this moment right now?
Uh, for me, I do love the game. I mean, it's something I've always wanted to do ever since I've been a little kid. But two is like I've had a lot of people tell me I couldn't do it, and I don't know why. I'm very, I guess you can say I'm kind of petty, but also like I'm the youngest of six kids at the house. I'm very revengeful. So like, you tell me I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna prove you wrong. So like, just please, just like I love it when people keep adding that up for me. So I don't know. I have a chip on my shoulder. I mean, it means a lot to me. Uh, and like, especially it's a great way to provide for your family, and it's generational what you can do with this. And because I want to be a stay-at-home dad when I'm in the mid 30s. I don't want to work. I want to make investments from playing the game and just take care of my kids and raise my kids and coach them. So I mean that it's just the future what this game can do for my family and I. It's another big motivating factor.
Yeah, and Jack, just looking back, going into last season, was there a moment in OTAs or in training camp where you sensed, okay, this isn't just a pipe dream. I know I'm an undrafted guy, might have some odds stacked against me, but I really feel like I belong. And was it, when the pads came on, was it before that? Just kind of walk us through mentally how you approach attacking that, because I don't care what anyone says, it's not easy to win any NFL job, let alone as an undrafted free agent in your rookie season. So I'm just kind of curious if there was a particular moment where you felt like you really belonged.
I would definitely say the week that the Jets came, and I had a really good practice. I felt like I had a pretty good practice going on. I mean, obviously, I made stupid rookie mistakes. I mean, that's gonna happen. But then I went in the game and I had like one of the best games I had in a long time. Felt like I was in college. Everything was flowing. I was making plays, chasing down, and like just doing that. And I was like, you know what? Like I can do this. I just got to keep doing what I'm doing. But it's just what really helped me was to make the team. I didn't have to do anything extraordinary from what I'm not used to doing. So it was just very nice to know that I could just play my game, play hard, play fast, and the plays will come. So that's
And
really it.
Jack, DJ Garcia on Twitter says, "What's up, trash can full of dirt?" So that's a nickname that we've seen. What originated from a scout, right? Is that correct? How do you like
Mhm.
that moniker? Because when we heard that, we were like, we're gonna love this guy, and you've lived up to that description. I think you kick ass out there. So, what did you make of that description when you first heard it?
Well, I mean, I didn't. Everyone's like, "Oh, like that's brutal." Like they're calling him a trash can. But like growing up on a farm, I kind of like we have trash cans full of dirt, and like you can't move them. So like that's why I'm like, I'll take that as a compliment. I guess I'm pretty stout then. But it's just anything. I mean, all publicity is good publicity. I've learned. Uh, Sometimes not at first, but in the long run it will be. But no, it's a great thing. Like people want to call me that. I don't care. I love the nickname personally. It's a hell of a branding tool too.
Yeah, and Jack, going back to that undrafted free agency, how much did you mention Coach Montgomery, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you had connection to him just because of his connection to the Iowa program. Did you know him at all before you signed with the Packers? And was that at least a part of your decision, or were there other factors that really drove the decision? Because in some ways, it's sometimes being an undrafted free agent can be a blessing in disguise where you get to choose your destination. So just kind of curious what the thought process was and factors that went into that decision.
Um, I know we knew Green Bay had interest from the start, through the whole process, but especially when Coach Ferentz calls me on the draft day, and he told me, he was like, it's a real opportunity with real people, and he talked about Coach Montgomery and like how he's a stand-up guy, he respects the hell out of him, and like when Coach Ferentz says that about someone, it goes a long way. So, and that's all I was looking for. They said the real opportunity is going to give you a real shot. Even my agent was telling me that. Coach Montgomery shot me straight. He was the first one to tell me they weren't taking defense in the 7th round. He told me that early. He told me, he sent me a text with the exact everything. He was like, "You do this, this, and this, and you'll make the team." And so it wasn't any like red flags or question marks out of it where you get that, I guess, from other people, but it just felt comfortable in a way. But the only first time I met with Coach Montgomery was in a pre-draft Zoom meeting, and that's it. Um, and I knew he played at Iowa from the past, but that's the only really conversation I had with him.
That's super interesting. I mean, what was your impression then? You get to Green Bay, right? You come in here to Lambeau. Had you ever been to Lambeau prior in your life? I knew you're a Midwest guy like we are, so I wasn't sure if you grew up going to any football games or anything. But what was your kind of impression heading into Lambeau for the first time as a Green Bay Packer?
I mean, that was my first time ever at Lambeau too.
Okay.
And I looked at it, I'm like, holy crap, like this ain't college no more. I mean, that place is massive. But no, but yeah, it was something special. It's surreal to this day. Like sometimes, like when you're like in the morning, you're just like in a fog, and you're like, crap, like I gotta go do 10 hours of work today, and you're just like, I'm just like tired, like I'm worn out. It's like week 8, but like of like OTAs or something in the summer, and you like, but then you pull up and the gates of Lambeau open, you look up, you're like, holy crap, like I'm like, what am I complaining about? I'm so blessed right now. This is ridiculous. It snaps you out of it really quick. So, I mean, every day I'm still on all of it every single day I walk in.
Yeah, for sure. And Jack, I'm just kind of curious. There's been a lot of stories that have come out about some of your teammates that really just put in a ton of work behind the scenes, and I know you're one of them as well. So, where do you think that comes from? Is that culture driven, or just being surrounded by the right type of guys that just love football and are hungry to go out there and prove that they belong at this level? Or because I got to think there's a little bit of everything that goes into that, but it seems like there may be some quiet competition amongst some of you to prove who's going to work the hardest too. So just kind of curious how much of that actually manifests itself in reality, and how much of that just makes for some good stories from the media to be able to tell about the guys that are putting in the work and really earning their spot.
I mean, it's just one thing. Like, why everyone's down to compete in the locker room. I mean, we're professional athletes for a reason. That's like what got us there. But still, especially in like the D line room, it's super competitive. Uh, I mean, you got Kenny and Dean. I mean, they set a pretty all right example, I guess you could say. I mean, they're pretty freaking good. Um, so like just like they set the standard, and it's just every day you have a standard to live up to. There's a reason why I think it's like 7 years this year, 7 or 8 years in the league, and they made some good money. So it's like kind of silent competition, I guess, in a way. Like working out with Dean, he always comes up. He asks what weight I did, or I go to him. I'm like, what weight you hit today? TJ, he's an outlier. He's just strong as hell. But it's like other than that, like I mean, you like always ask, and like try to see, and you try to live up to them, and try not to let the old guys down or the older guys, the vets. So even going to my second year, I still feel like I have a lot to prove, and I have a lot to live up to. So it's just not letting them down, trying to come back in a little bit better shape than them, or little. So you're always competing over little things.
What was the approach going into last year? We mentioned undrafted guy. Were the veterans pretty receptive to you right away? Was there kind of an initiation process among the D line? How does that work in Green Bay? What's the culture like there for that?
I mean, I'll say this: when you come in, everyone's treated with respect. Um, they respect you for getting there, but it's like a quiet, like little, I don't know, like it's like a quiet way of earning respect. It's like, all right, let's see him practice. Let's see how he responds in practice. Like the way he works. Like, does he talk? Does he like make excuses? So it's like, I mean, that's just like with all, but that's just everywhere in life. I would say, like you guys been around for a while. Like like you see how it goes. Um, but no, it's just like I was treated well. I mean, there's obviously a rookie skit everyone has to do. I mean, you can't dodge that. So like you have to do that little skit. But other than that, I mean, it's just seeing how I perform on the field and how I respond. And if like when you get asked questions in meetings, if you know the answer, it's just small things like that. It's just being really just being a pro and like treating it like a job. Like this isn't you ain't getting a scholarship, going to class, and coming home and screwing around. You got a 4-year deal. Like it's your job. Like it's the way you take care of your family now.
Mm-hmm. And Wags, I'm sorry, but Jack, we'd lose our subscribers very quickly that are downloading this tomorrow. If I didn't follow up with what was your skit? What did you do for your skit last year?
Actually, I did. I was Coach Montgomery, and we did like meetings. And I just basically it was so I was talking to one of the player development guys. He's like, dude, he's like, this is your one time to go at it. So I was like, dude, screw it, I'm going all in. So like, we went all in. But no, I was Coach Montgomery, and we with like the other D linemen, the undrafted guys, we reenacted what a meeting's like, and like just messing around. It got a pretty good hit, so I was pretty excited about that.
Yeah, that's awesome. And Jack, now coming into your second season, you're no longer the new guy, particularly in the defensive line group. So, just looking around at some of the moves that the front office made, including re-signing you back in January, um, what's your assessment of this defensive line group so far from what you've seen in OTAs, and what's the next step for you as you go into year two?
I mean, it's a hell of a D line right now. We're pretty deep across the board, and it's gonna be really good competition. I'm really excited for the gates to open once camp starts. I mean, the competition's already started, but I'm really excited to see what I can do. And for me coming in the second year, I just want to be able to prove myself that last year's camp wasn't a fluke. When I played in the Kansas City game, I didn't play the way I wanted to. I didn't play good at all. So like I want to show that what I did in the preseason wasn't a fluke, and I want to come back out and do it again and make the team, and want to really be in Green Bay this fall. And yeah, either or, like whatever happens, happens is business, and I know that. But I know that this is a really good fit for me here. I know I fit the culture really well. I really respect everyone across the board, and I know I can control what I can control. Um, and that's just the way I'm going to work, compete, and God has a plan for me. And whatever happens, happens. And I'm really looking forward to just getting after it. I mean, that's being from a walk on to undrafted. It's nothing new. Just keep tallying it up. I'm used to it, and I'm just going to keep on going no matter what.
That's great.
Yeah, that's great. And we've got some comments here coming in on our chats. Comment here from Shadid just says, "Yo, Jack Heflin in the house." We've got a comment from Lee, 86. Love the motor, Heflin. Looking forward to seeing it at training camp. again this year? And then I think you might have already answered it, but John Dorn asked, Jack, who on the Packers defensive line is the hardest to block?
Oh, that's an easy question. Kenny Clark. I'm sorry. Like, you see that. It depends on the day, but Kenny Clark is a freak. Dean's a freak too. But when TJ gets homing and he gets oiled up, TJ is also just an absolute specimen. So pick your poison. There's a reason why they are where they are. So
my question though is, who's got the best dance moves or the best celebration in that defensive line group? I mean, I think we're anxious to see who can have the best sack dance going into this season.
well, I mean, I'm an old fashioned. You ever see the college? I'm an old fashioned Goonies guy. I like rubbing the belly. So I've always been that way. But I mean, I don't know. I would say I feel like TJ has the most spunk when it comes to it. I feel like he's the most flashy. So it's either TJ's gonna flex, Dean's gonna do his jump up and flex. Kenny's gonna have something new. Kenny's always dialing something up. So you got to give it to the. I don't know what Jay Reed's are. So yeah, I think you got to give it to the Wiley vet and Kenny. And that, I mean, TJ hasn't had the sacks that Kenny has, so it's just unfair advantage right now.
I like this. I like this insight we're getting tonight, Wags, from Jack here. This is good. Jack, where are they having you line up right now during OTAs? I know the Packers love flexibility. You're a guy who has shown that you can, do a lot of things with your hand in the dirt. So where are they placing you at right now on the D line, or where are you most comfortable right now?
I'm comfortable in any position they put me on. It's the same thing as last year, what they're doing. Being an undrafted guy, I got to know every spot. So just trying to learn every spot, and I wouldn't say just learn it, just be an asset in every spot, especially in practice. So it's just the same thing as last year. Trying to be a little Swiss Army knife for them, trying to be someone that they can't get rid of, and just like not really that they can't get rid of. I want to be someone that helps the team. So if they need someone like a little security blanket for Coach Montgomery, if someone goes down, someone's shoelace breaks, something happens in a game. I mean, there's so many things that happen in the four quarters. So just be ready, and when he needs me, you can throw him plug and play anywhere, and it just doesn't have to be a certain position.
For sure. And Jack, how are you feeling health-wise? Your body feeling good, healthy as you're getting ready for camp next month?
Yeah, I feel real good. I just had a little tune-up this off season, and I feel real good heading into camp this year.
Yeah, that's great. So speaking of the off season, it looks like you like to enjoy yourself off the field as well. What have been some of the things you've been able to do as you've gotten away from football and relax a little bit this off season as well?
I mean, I went to a girlfriend and I took a trip to Cabo. Always wanted to do that. I had to hit the mandatory NFL trip to Cabo. Did it once, probably won't do it twice. No, other than that, I like to golf. So I did some golfing. I like to say I'm golfing, but I'm really not. I'm freaking shanking and slicing, but I'm having the time of my life every time. But no, golf a lot. Like playing games, play a lot of Call of Duty. And then, one of my good roommates and buddies, he took me turkey hunting this year. I like to waterfowl hunt a lot, but I've never been able to go turkey hunting. Just been so busy growing up, no one to take me or teach me. So went turkey hunting for the first time, and it's the most frustrating bird in my life I ever dealt with. But I want to shoot one so bad. I want to get one.
Yeah, well,
I think there's a lot of Packer fans out there listening that would be happy to take you and show you how to turkey hunt. So, guys, if you want to take Jack turkey hunting, I think you should hit him up. He's looking for some tutorials out there. I personally wouldn't be a lot of help for you on that front, Jack, but I think there's a lot of guys out there in Packerland that would be happy to show you the ropes for sure.
I would love that. Trust me, I would.
Well, come in my backyard. I've got plenty of turkey. Please get rid of some for us. My wife would be very pleased with that. You changed numbers. I see you went from 90 to 96. Any reasoning behind that other than past experience with the number?
Uh, it was just with signing of Jay Reed. He's a vet, so
Got
it
it.
was part of his deal. So they
Got
gave me
it.
96. At least it's not a 70s or 50s number or 60s, so still a good number. I'll take
Cool.
that.
Cool. And what kind of music are you listening to these days? And what do you listen to before the games? Are you a hype up guy? Are you a guy that kind of just chills out? What's kind of your what's on the dial right now for you?
I mean, just normal, like just driving around music. I listen to a lot of country music. Growing up with that, I listen to Morgan Wallen, Riley Green. Those are the most mainstream I get. But I listen to a lot of Whiskey Myers, Cody
Hmm.
Jenks, a lot of guys like
Hmm.
that. A little bit of Luke Combs here and there.
Cody
But
Jenks,
before I
man,
get,
I love him. I'm going out to Wyoming, or excuse me, Montana in a couple of weeks and going to see Cody Jenks at a festival. He's awesome. I
oh,
love his music.
so lucky that my buddy saw him in Dubuque and said it was the best concert he ever been to in his life. But
Cool.
I've been listening to Ian Munsick too, up and coming guy. Uh, but no, then before a game, it's kind of funny. I listen to country music too before a game. But like I listen to like the Steel Woods. But then I get like a little rock in there. I get a little rap. I listen to a little Ti. You, I mix it up all the time, and that's just like with music too. I listen to a lot of podcasts too, driving. I'm a big Joe Rogan guy. Uh, I just like hearing a bunch of different stuff, topics going on in the world, just educate myself in a way. I don't know how educational it is, but I like to feel like I'm learning something.
That's great.
Yeah, we won't go on like a trip with you like Joe likes to do with his guests, but um, so speaking of hunting, just one other off-season activity. Did you guys know that you were going to go paintballing for the third day of mandatory OTAs? And did your hunting experience benefit you out there? And I mean, I'm just curious. We saw some of the pictures on social media. Were you one of the killers out there? Or, how did that go out there for you?
I mean, first game, I'm not gonna lie to you, it was hotter than heck out. So like first game, I'm just going for it. I'm just getting after it, jumping. I'm getting shot, running back, tagging on the base, sprinting back out there. Uh, no, but I would say hunting helped a little bit, but usually the target that you're hunting doesn't fire back at you, so it makes it a little bit different when you have paintballs coming right at your head. Maybe the one time I ran in the middle and the O line was just sitting there, and I got hit by like four different guys shooting me, just got peppered. But I mean, it was fun. But then like the second and third game, I ended up just grabbing. They had like these like grenades, and I just took a whole box out there, and I had like 20 grenades. And I was just launching them. My arm was so sore the next day. I was just sending it.
Yeah, those O linemen are pretty tribal, man. I tell you, I don't know if they had Aaron or Jay Love like kind of behind them, like they form a pocket or something, or maybe they said they're on their own when they're out there on the paintball court.
Listen, we were talking a little bit offline, Jack, about something near and dear to you, Rally for Reed, and really wanted you to maybe mention that so our audience could you learn a bit more about this as well. And folks, we'll put this up on our Insta story as well when we put this up here tomorrow. But Jack, would you mind talking a little bit more about Rally for Reed?
Yeah, so a buddy of mine that I train with, an LA Rams safety, Jake Travas, he got really close with Reed when he was battling cancer when he was a kid in the Children's Hospital in Iowa City, and unfortunately, Reed lost his battle. Little warrior he fought, but it's a really cool camp put on in Davenport, Iowa. It's 3 sessions. There's a young group, a really young elementary group, and it's like a middle school group and older. Uh, and it's just a bunch of kids get to go out, have fun, play football. There's about 20 former Iowa Hawkeyes that are there running the camp. And I mean, it's in Davenport, Iowa at Assumption Sports Complex. And I mean, it's a great camp for a great cause to raise money for pediatric cancer. Jake Travas is a great man for putting it on. He has a lot of stuff going on, and Reed's parents are amazing parents, and it's just overall it's an amazing day, amazing atmosphere, and it's just a fun day celebrating Reed's life and all the stuff he loved, and being able to help raise money for a good cause.
Yeah, and Jack, I know you said you raised over $50,000 last year. Where can folks? Can you say again one more time where folks can go if they'd like to donate, and when will that event be again this year?
I want to say you can donate at Rally for Reed Foundation on Instagram. There should be a link in the bio, or just look up Jake Travas and DM and bother him. Let him just blow up his DMs about it, and he'll definitely get you somewhere to go. He'll be more than happy to help you. And it takes place this Friday. Um, I want to say it starts at 8 a.m. the first session, but this Friday in Davenport, Iowa.
That's fantastic. So everyone listening, go and contribute to that great cause. And Jack, thanks so much for doing everything that you do to be able to support that and in the community in Iowa and your hometown and of course in Green Bay. It's very much appreciated that you and the teammates that you have, former and current, that can use the platform to be able to do good. So thanks for all that you do there.
Absolutely. Thank you for everything too. Thanks for thanking me.
Yeah, no, and I mean, Jack, I just want to say thanks. It took to be able to take the time to come on here. You're somebody that we really appreciate. We're excited to be tracking you pretty hard this year. As you're battling come July and August up there in Green Bay, and we love your game. We think you've got a hell of a shot to make this team and make an impact this year. And you're a good dude off the field, and you're a good ball player on it. So you're definitely somebody that we're going to be cheering for. And I know Lombardi's Legends podcast listeners will all be pulling for you as well.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you all very much for having me on here. It's been an absolute joy. I've been meaning to get on here earlier, but like I said, I'm brutal at responding to messages. It's nothing personal.
No, absolutely not. The appreciation is all ours, Jack. Before you go, we always got to ask, can you give us a hearty go Pack go?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Go Pack go.
Go Pack go.
Go Pack
Thank-
go.
Go Pack
Thanks,
go,
Jack.
baby.
Green Bay
No problem.
Packers
Always good.
defensive lineman Jack Heflin. Thanks, Jack. Appreciate it.
Yep, thank y'all.
All right. So, Dane, I think we should jump over then and hear from our sponsor, DraftKings Sportsbook. DraftKings is the official sponsor of the NFL. Of course, it is no longer football season. We are in the hockey playoffs. The pursuit of the Stanley Cup is on, and DraftKings Sportsbook has an unbelievable offer for the most exciting playoffs in sports. New customers can bet $5 on any team to win and get $100 in free bets, no matter what, win or lose. So, Dane, I don't know if you and your wife, Andrea, have shifted over to the Stanley Cup and the NHL, but you got to keep the train going with DraftKings.
Listen, Wags, I mean, I'll tell you what. I told you my wife does not like Boston. So she's very happy with what happened with Steph Curry and others. And now on to the Avalanche. She's going with the Avalanche in Colorado for the Stanley Cup, and she's having a ton of fun thanks to DraftKings Sportsbook. Folks, use promo code TPPN. Again, promo code TPPN. And enjoy, place some bets, have some fun with it. I know soccer is going to be coming up soon too. There's all sorts of great stuff that you're able to play with DraftKings Sportsbook. Again, use promo code TPPN. Receive that $150 in free bets and just have some fun doing it.
Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. All right. So, Dane, that was awesome. Jack is a great dude. So
Great
much
guy.
appreciate him coming on the show. Would be happy to have him on anytime. So, when you look at this defensive line group, and he's a big part of the improved defensive line that I think we're going to see this year. And I'm really hoping to see him be able to carve out a bigger role this season. I think both you and I expected to see him on the field more last year, based on the fact that he made that roster out of camp and with the role that he seemed to be setting up for himself. So hopefully for his sake, he'll be able to get a few more reps in and some more snaps on Sundays this season, because I think he can definitely bring an element that this defensive line can use out there on Sundays. So I'm excited to see what transpires with Jack and the rest of this defensive line.
Yeah, I mean, he's a competitor, right? There's no doubt about that. I don't think he's going to flinch from the competition. There's going to be a lot of competition this year. I mean, the Packers invest in the draft, they invest in free agency, and they're returning Kenny Clark, Dean Lowry, and TJ Slayton, which already, it's a heck of a group of guys there. So Jack's going to be battling, but I think he's going to make it incredibly hard. And I think this Packers defensive line very, very well could carry 6 defensive linemen, and I think Jack's that 6th guy. I just do. I think he's a really good football player. The Packers don't give away roster spots. The fact that he was able to stick last year, now going into year 2, understands the culture, understands the defense that much more. He's got a leg up, and I think that the Packers have some trust in him. Otherwise, they wouldn't have kept him around. They wouldn't have brought him back. So good on Jack. It's going to be a fight, but I mean, tell me the last time Jack Heflin flinched, right? Through adversity, he's going to go and he's going to battle.
Yeah. And I mean, the number one thing that you don't want to say this, but there's injuries are always part of camp. And so I'm very happy with what the front office did with this defensive line, because I've been nervous the last 3-4 years about the depth that we've had at the defensive line. I think you're happy with the guys they've had to start with, but injuries can play a toll, man. And so I think they're in a much better position from a depth standpoint. Hopefully there's no, long-term injuries with this group, but I think with the guys that they have there, they can withstand outside of Kenny Clark, a injury that's of the 3 to 4 a game or less variety to most of these guys. And so I think Jack's going to be a big part of that for sure. Dane, just before we log off here for the night, just a couple Packer news and notes. Social media favorite Kurt Benkert no longer in Green Bay. Unfortunately, I know a lot of Packer fans really love Curtis, especially with some of his activeness on Twitter. Made a lot of fun to follow, but it looks like the Packers decided to move on, and he's not going to be part of training camp battling for that number 3 quarterback spot. Most likely that'll be someone that'll be on the practice squad. So I don't see the Packers carrying 3 quarterbacks on the active roster. So I don't know if you have a read on this or if this is more maybe just all things being equal. They felt like it was a pretty even competition, or maybe he was just a little behind the 4th guy. Let him go now, and he has perhaps a chance to catch on somewhere else.
Well, you know what? I actually saw he did some kind of like live stream or something like this morning, maybe, or maybe it was last night, but I saw it this morning. And he said that he has a ton of respect for Goody and actually kind of came to his defense, which I was, not surprised by. Kurt's a good dude. It's just, he basically said, fans are mad at Goody, but really he was doing him a favor. He wasn't going to make the team. They were straight shooters with him. And they said, you know what, we're going to let you go now. Hopefully you can latch on somewhere else and get a crack at earning a job on the 53 like you did last year. So, honestly, it might work out better for Benkert long-term. And Wags, I think the Packers I think we're carrying 88 right now on the roster. So, we've got a couple of roster spots to play with before training camp breaks. I would not be surprised if the Packers bring in a 4th quarterback for another camp arm. So, I think the Packers, to your point, Wags, they're looking for a practice squad guy. And the question becomes, it's Danny Etling and somebody else that we're probably bringing in. And one of those guys is looking to earn that practice squad spot, because the Packers are going to go into the regular season with Aaron Rodgers and Jordan Love at 1 and 2. And this is too stacked of a roster. You can't carry three quarterbacks. We just heard about Jack Heflin. How do you carry 6 defensive linemen if you're carrying 3 quarterbacks? The math isn't going to work with this deep of a team.
Yeah, I mean, and all respect to Kurt, but he's not exactly that young of a player anymore
Right.
at this point in his career. So I think he kind of understands the game at this point, and it's easy to root for a guy when he's as entertaining as he is.
Great
But
guy. Yeah.
a great guy. But Packers are in business of they're not keeping someone around because of their social media game. All respect to Kurt. They're going to make that a football decision, and that's how they're going to operate. So best of luck to him. And we'll move forward. Dane, any other recent news and notes that you wanted to touch on before we sign off here?
I'm trying to think, these off seasons. I'm trying to think if anything else really popped. Nothing major that I can think of right now. I mean, the banker thing was honestly a surprise to me, so I was a little bit surprised there. And the Packers are playing a little bit of musical chairs at the kicker position as well. But outside of that, no. And we'll see how this all shakes out come training camp in a few weeks.
All right, beautiful. Well, folks, those of you that jumped on tonight
you.
on our live, as well as those of you listening tomorrow or Thursday or Friday, whenever you're able to take a chance to download, thanks so much for following along. And thanks again to Jack Heflin for joining us tonight and for being generous with his time. Great to catch up with him. As always, be legendary and go Pack,
go.
Every year I know we gonna go hard. We been that team ever since Bart started. All my cheese heads go Pack go. Ain't showing no mercy, cutting no slack, no. I ain't a bad sport and I'll even wish you good luck. Only